Right, Rich. First of many away games to follow. Here we are in Southend, windy and cold as always. Obviously, league table may suggest this is a foregone conclusion, but for me, I'm sure, and from you, it's the same. We're unbeaten in two clean sheets. I'm sure you're looking to build on that.
Without a doubt, their position don't come into it at all. To be truthful, I think they're probably more dangerous. You get to the realms of start getting concerned with that type of thing. You don't want to be the first one to lose to a team that's not had a win all season. So that comes into our minds. But to be truthful, I just want to concentrate on us. As you say, we've performed really well over the last two games that we've had. I mean, maybe not the first 25 minutes of last week's game. We've looked to remedy that at training in terms of our understanding. But it's a confident group, as you can hear in the background. We've lost a couple of players again last week to what are not short-term injuries, more muscle injuries. It's getting on my nerves a little bit, but it's every week. But we have one hell of a squad. Yeah, we feel quite confident today, and we're looking forward to this, to be truthful.
Yeah, and obviously we're going into quite a lot of away games, which is never really a problem, but a fair bit of travelling and whatnot. But there's an opportunity to start climbing the league, which we spoke about, to build on two games undefeated. I take it you set a target for February.
Really have. Well, again, it is one game at a time, and we do want to get today out of the way. But as of next week, I mean, look, you'd like to think you go to the bottom of the table without a win all season. You're listen, not a bank or anything like that, but we'll do our thing. Hopefully, walk away with 3 points today, and then we focus on what is going to be a very difficult week next week. We're at Buckersteel and then Woodford Town on the Wednesday night. I'm hoping by that point we get a couple more lads back as well. But yeah, we are focusing and we are looking to climb that table. We're sitting in 12th. We've got 3 games in hand on some teams, 2 games in hand on most as well. So good opportunity today and over the next 2 weeks to really put some points on the board and start actually climbing that table to where we believe we actually should be, where some performances have warranted that at the beginning of the season. But I think I said the last couple of weeks, I see a bit of an evolution at the moment, and I can feel a different vibe within. Toby James has come in and has been very good. Henry Fisher's available a lot more now, and he had a brilliant home debut last week. And yeah, we've got a really strong squad, and I'm really happy with it. It is getting the new lads that are coming in to understand the system and who, what, where, when type thing about what we do and how we play. But we are getting there. So yes, important today, and February is a big month for us, definitely.
Yeah, and you mentioned injuries. Obviously, we lost Harry Rawlins and Paul Cox last week during the game.
Yeah.
Just talk us through the changes today.
Yeah, well, Jay Fisher missed out last week, family situation. He comes straight back in for Coxie. Bit of a godsend. Jay has been brilliant this season since he came in at the early part. Lovely to have him back with his pace and his power in at right back. What else? How have we gone? I've kind of rotated a little bit up the top end of the pitch, and we've brought a lad in from the reserves today. He'll start as sub. His name's Andrew Yasuma. He's impressed everyone in training. He's had a few training sessions with the first team, and he's been superb. So he gets an opportunity to come into the squad. Julio Fresneda comes back in as well. He's trained brilliantly the last few weeks. And everyone is very keen to get going.
Good. And lastly, how important will it be to get another clean sheet? We spoke off camera last week about our challenges at the beginning part of the season, where we struggled with letting in goals.
Yep.
And we were scoring quite freely. Now we've last 2 games we've scored 1, but not letting any. So as well as the clean sheet, how do we get the balance of the attacking side as well?
Well, as you can see at the moment, what we're doing is in training, we're concerning ourselves with not conceding goals. I think that's important after such a long breakaway that we do. I mean, the games that we've had against West Essex and Stansted in January dictated that we have been at our resilient defensive best. So we kind of focused on that area a bit in training, and I think it's paid dividends, to be truthful. Now, it is a balance, but I'd rather not lose a game 5-4 and maybe take a clean sheet and a point away from that type of thing. We've got to develop that, and that's what we're looking to do. So again, that back 4, apart from Paul Cox, who started last week, but Jay's played a lot of games, it's essentially almost an unchanged back four that gets another opportunity to learn and work together. And those clean sheets are vastly important. And they have set that target where they want to keep a clean sheet again today. So that is the plan.
All right, good luck today, Rich.
Thank you, mate.
Cheers.
Stop shivering now. Turn here. Thank you.
Lovely, Lorenzo. Do you want to come through? That's thank you. Enjoy. Let's go, boys. Say it, let's go. Hold on, boys. Move on. Let's go. So fucking good! That's devastating. Stay here! Stay here! Winners! How long we got? Rest. 4 from here. Another 4. Come on, Bill. Hands, referee on the 8. Wait! Oh! 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 Hold it there, hold it there. Come on, Big. Come on, Big.
after a 1-0 win away at Southend Manor. I think we start with a positive, which was we're now 3 games unbeaten, 3 clean sheets in a row. That's 9 in the league this season, which is, I think, is a tremendous accolade. I sense you weren't happy in the warm-up with something. I heard a few words. Did that show on the pitch in the second half? Because I thought we made it really difficult for ourselves in the second half. After first half, not even. I don't think they were even in the game.
Where do I start? I'll tell you what. I'll start at the beginning. Okay, yeah, warm-up. No, I'm not particularly happy. We've got quite a young squad today, and we're bringing lads from the reserves that are on the bench. They need guidance from what essentially are the senior lads that know what's expected. It's the same old thing. I feel complacency slipping into certain individuals in the warm-up, and they get told. It's that simple. It shouldn't be happening. We should be aiming for as high as possible, as often as possible, and trying to get as many points on the board as we can. But I think, take the warm-up away. I think we started okay. It wasn't the best of first half. Look, you're never going to have free-flowing, wonderful football on a pitch like this, I'm afraid to say. It wasn't one for the purists at all for the whole 100 minutes that the game went on. It was a bit bizarre, really. We do try and get the ball down and play, but I felt when we did it, it was in the wrong areas, if I'm being honest with you. You've got to play percentages football and understand the nature of the beast, which is they're fighting for bits and pieces, and everything, absolutely everything from start to finish. And second half especially, I had 4 or 5 individuals that started doing their own thing and playing their own game, and clearly not concentrating on it. And a couple of them are playing in my defence, and it's a shambles the second half. I'll be truthful, and I'm choosing my words carefully, and I'm very unhappy. It just isn't good enough. Look, switching off, almost giving up the ghost, it felt like to me, and my players should know better and shouldn't do that. But you said the positives. 3 clean sheets on the trot. Well, for us, that's unheard of this season, so that is a massive positive, and 7 points out of a possible 9. So, yeah, I've got to be positive, but that second half was a tough one to take because, well, at one point we're playing 5 minutes of the game because someone forgot to go to the toilet before they started playing football today and had to go off and, sort himself out for 5 minutes. So we're down to 10 for 5 minutes, and players are filling in all over the place. They're chucking the ball long and it's bobbling all over the place. It just wasn't a good game at all. But the bonus is 1-0 away, and I'll take that.
Yeah. What do you put the second half down to? Because I mean, it wasn't even that they would dominate. We just, like you said, I think we had a 10-minute spell where they had 3 golden opportunities where we were just, our shape was all over. I think players, like you said, were doing what they wanted, which is unusual. Yep. And in other games, we would have. I mean, this time probably 4 months ago, we would have definitely dropped points today. So we got away with one. Yep. But
that's the golden question,
happened.
Adam. That's the $1 million question. Why? I mean, I can't put my finger in it. I haven't actually got an answer for that. I've had 2 lads apologise to me for their second half performance, which is fair enough, but it shouldn't be happening. I mean, these are lads that do know better and have produced a lot better. So when you have 1 or 2 do that, let alone 3 or 4, it filters through. You know, and then you're bringing on young lads. I mean, look, we've brought another lad with us today, young Andrew Yasuma. He's come on, and I thought he was brilliant. And he's actually taking the ball to the full back and getting us out of danger. And he shouldn't be having to do that. He should be out there enjoying his debut and being a big part of it in terms of the boys, the senior lads are carrying them through it a little bit. But it felt like Julio's come on, he's done brilliant. He's got the ball, and it takes the pressure off the lads that are having an absolute aberration out there for whatever reason. Look, as I say, I've told the lads I'm going to speak to them individually over the weekend, but no, I'm not happy at all.
Look, at the end of the day, I think we said this last week against West Essex. 3 months ago, we would have dropped points, no doubt, but we seem to still be holding on, and fair play to the lads because 3 clean sheets in this league is a good. It don't matter who you're playing against. Bear in mind we've played 2 of the top 5 in the last games. Yep. And yes, we didn't hit the standard today, but you've got to be happy that we've managed to get the 3 points and the clean sheet.
Yeah, I look at it, don't I? No, I'm not happy. I am happy about that.
Normally it's me that's not happy.
Honestly. No, I'm right. I think complacency did kick in. I think they've come to what is a difficult place. The changing room's dark and dingy and freezing cold. The pitch is not great. and Manor are fighting. And if you don't match that fight with a little bit of fight of your own and professionalism, you're not going to put these teams away. And fair play to Manor. They're hanging on there, thinking that the miracle can happen. And the boys have got to understand that, and they didn't today at times, especially the second half. And I'm saying that Henry Fisher was immense at left back and then centre half. He was outstanding in what he did in his defensive work, and if he could have been backed up a bit better by a couple of others, we'd have been a lot better. Henry Fisher was immense at left back and then centre half. He was outstanding in what he did in his defensive work, and if he could have been backed up a bit better by a couple of others, we'd have been a lot better, to be truthful. It's tough. Look, for me, we've worked really hard the last 3 weeks on the training ground from a defensive aspect. Now, if our reward for that is 3 clean sheets, then we're doing something right. But what we're doing in terms of defensively, clearly it's having an adverse effect on our attacking style. But 3 clean sheets against 2 really good sides in Essex, West Essex and Stansted, and then a battling clean sheet here today. I suppose I've got to take it. I've got to be satisfied from that. As I say, if we're working on a training ground and we're getting clean sheets, and so it's going right, isn't it?
And you spoke about some complacency and some underperformance. I think probably now's the right time for the players that are coming back in. Jack's coming back into training. Yep. Connor's been with the reserves, and Freddie's with the reserves.
Yep.
George Hayes is with the reserves. You've got a few players coming back in. So does that now allow you to put the pressure back on those boys that are in those positions and demand more?
Well, it does, and it makes us a lot better and a lot stronger, doesn't it? Look, sadly, it looks like we've lost another player today to another muscle injury, which I don't even know if it's anything we're doing, because I don't know what it just happens every week, doesn't it? Little Mo's gone down with a hamstring. It's not his bad one, it's his other one. So, but the flip side is, as you say, Connor Jones, he looked really good in training the other night. He's had a game today with the reserves. Freddie Mattock, wonderful player, we've got to get him right, and that was why he was with the reserves today, to make sure that he comes back in as of next week. I pray none of those 3 got injured. And Jack will be fit. I know he's been working quite well with his physio, and he's ready to go, to be truthful. So yes, we will look a bit stronger next week. It's looking all right, to be fair.
All right. Well, it's 3 points, and we'll go on to a much tougher game next week away at Buckersteel. But well done, 3 points, another clean sheet, and at least that's all we came for.
Brilliant. Cheers.
Okay, here with Tim after a 1-0 win away at Southend Manor. As I just said to Rich, I think let's take the positives to start off with. Three clean sheets in a row, unbeaten in 3, which we ain't said all season, which is real positive. But we made hard work of that in the second half, didn't we?
We did, mate, but yeah, like you just said, 3 clean sheets down the bounce. I know it wasn't pretty, I know it was ugly, but it's like we said a couple of weeks ago, that game at the start of the season, we lose that and we completely cave. So it does also show how far we've come as a group of players as well. We dug in deep. I'm proud of the boys, to be honest.
Yeah. It seemed in the first half we were fairly comfortable. Most of the game was played in their half. I don't think you've touched the ball. What changed in the second half? Because it wasn't really this whole second half. It was kind of the last 20 minutes. It's like, I think they had a chance that they hit the bar, or you saved, and then it kind of gave them a load of energy, and we didn't really react to that. We kind of just sort of took it for granted and carried on, where we probably didn't really match them, and that's where they gave them that extra bit of fight, and they got a few chances. So what do you think went wrong?
Yeah, mate, I think that's where the momentum changed, didn't it? So obviously they had that chance, they're getting their tails up, they're bottom of the league, they've got nothing to lose. They're coming against us with literally everything, throwing everything at us. So like you say, they're playing on like they've got a get out of jail free card, really. They just do what they want with it and just keep pummeling. And it does build pressure, and like you say, when things start to go under your boot and start to slip through, it puts more pressure on you, you get more tense.
Yeah.
So yeah, but like I said, bottom line, I can't take anything away from any of the boys. I think as sloppy as it was at times, we dug in and we got the result, and that's all I care about, and the clean sheet obviously as well.
Yeah. I mean, like I said it to Rich, 3 months ago we were playing well, scoring lots of goals, but weren't winning. I don't think we've been at our best the last 3 games in terms of in an attacking sense. I think at Stansted we created a few, but if you look at the West Essex game and today, we haven't created a lot, but we do look more solid and look more resolute. Are the players starting to feel that we can probably let ourselves go a little bit more in the front end of the pitch because we are more solid at the back?
Yeah, I think so. Rich has been really prioritising working with us at the back for the last couple of weeks. He's been putting a lot of work into the training ground. Obviously, at the start of the season, we were leaking lots of goals. So we've rectified that, which is amazing. And if we can just take that first part of the season's form back in, and I think it's just confidence, mate. I think once the boys get a couple of goals, I think Caleb was tremendous today, but I think he's very unlucky to have not had a goal today and stuff like that. His work rate's unbelievable. As soon as he gets his goal, I think he's going to start spiking up. I thought Joe Lilly was excellent as well. I think he's taken a massive change in his game. I think his physicality's really showed out, so fair play to him. I'm chuffed to bits for them, mate. But like I say, it was sloppy. I can't really say much, but as a defensive point of view, I'm proud of the three clean sheets and the boys at the back.
And important to get on a little bit of a run. 3 games undefeated, which is good. Tough game next week. Tough week next week. 2 tough games. But looks like we've got some key players coming back into the squad, which will only make us stronger. So are the boys starting to see that, and hopefully that'll up their games with the sort of competition within the squad.
I definitely agree, mate. I think we've actually played better against better teams anyway. To be honest, it'd be like you look at Stansted, we were superb at Stansted. All right, we didn't get goals at West Essex, but they're 2 top 4 or 5 sides. Got 4 points out of that. Then coming to the complete opposite end, coming to Southend Manor, it's bobbly, horrible, like all against you, away from home. And we've come away with 3 points. It might, again, not pretty, but we've done it, and that's 7 in 9 now. 7 points out of 9. So I'll take that, and let's say bring on Saturday. Is it Wednesday or Saturday?
Saturday, yeah.
Saturday.
Yeah, well, look, I mean, we and Rich had a conversation last week. Is, you know, we were exciting at the beginning of the year, scoring lots of goals. You know, I think we're scoring an average of 3 a game. We flipped that, and you know, I think I'd rather us win 1-0 and play like that and finish as high as possible than lose 5-4 in the last minute and play free-flowing football. So I think the players would agree.
No, definitely, absolutely. And I say we've had quite a lot of new players coming into the team as well. Obviously, we've been a core group of players for such a long period of time now as well. So introducing new boys into our system and how we play, it's going to take a little bit of time to get used to. But all the new boys that have come in, I think, are unbelievable as well. Like they're really good additions to the team. And I know for a fact that once we get it, take 1 game. 1 game, we score 2-3 goals, we get our tails up. It will all come back. I promise you. These boys are special.
All right. Well done, Tim. Another clean sheet for you, and a good performance in the second half from you to keep us in the game. So well done, mate.
Thank you so much,
Cheers.
mate. Cheers. Thank you.